Let's talk about hurt. What is hurt? One of my favorite songs growing up was that song. I'm not gonna sing it, but Everyone Hurts. Yeah, one of the best songs ever made. So let's get right to it. What do hurt mean? Hurt means physical injury or pain. Now, for this video, we are actually going to be talking about more eternal pain than external pain. So where do hurt come from? A lot of time hurt comes from the trials of life. Now, I have a video breaking down the trials of life. You could go check that out. But a lot of times hurt comes from the trials of life. Our pain comes from the trials of life, comes from living. Now, how do hurt affect us in our life? Well, let's look at hurt as if it's a seed. So we are made up of the mind, will, and emotion. So when we get hurt, that seed of hurt is dropped down into our emotion, causing us to release a emotional response. Now, that emotional response could be anger, jealousy, shame, etc. It's a whole list of emotional pain that we can go through. Now, a lot of times people tries to make it seem like that our emotions are sin. But that's not the case. Our emotion is not sin. Paul himself said, be angry, but sin not. There's a difference there. We can have these emotional reactions. It is natural for us to have these emotional responses. But it's important that we don't sin off of those emotional responses. I mean, let's look at Cain. I use Cain a lot, but let's look at Cain. When Cain was hurt because his brother Abel's offer was accepted and his wasn't accepted, he was hurt. He was jealous. But yet God came down and asked him, why are you so downcast? What's going on here, sir? What's up? And God told him, look, bro, if you would just do the right thing, do the right offering, do it how you're supposed to, your offering will be accepted. There's no boundaries here. But here's the key thing that he said right after that. He said, but if you don't, sin is crouching at your door, waiting to devour you. So here's the key. God said sin is at the door. Sin didn't already have him. He was already feeling the jealousy. He was already hurt. So clearly there's a difference. You could be jealous, you could be hurt, but sin don't have to have you automatically. Well, sin could be waiting at the door to take hold of you because of those feelings, right? You see, hurt becomes an issue in our life when two things happen. One, when we allow sin to overcome that hurt, like sin was waiting at his door to take over. When we allow sin to overcome our hurt, overtake our hurt, and work through our hurt, that is the first problem. The second one is when we don't let the hurt heal and we allow the hurt, we hold on to that hurt, and that hurt turns into a wound, which is a deep, deep hurt. Now back to Cain. Cain allowed sin to take over his hurt when he allowed his anger to turn into murder. So we know sin took over once he started to plan to murder his brother Abel. That is when sin took over. And when we allow the sin to take over our hurt, that is when we become a slave to sin. And to go into the wound situation a little bit more, there are two ways that a wound can appear from a hurt. One is it could be instant, and that's when it's a real dramatic hurt, like bullying, trauma, abuse. These kind of things would cause a deep wound instantly. But then again, like I said before, if you hold on to a hurt can turn into a wound if we do not allow it to heal the right way. If we just hold on to it, it could turn into something like bitterness. The danger about allowing a hurt to become a wound, or the danger about a hurt becoming a wound, is it's no longer just a seed. It's no longer easy to take care of or grab or clean it up. When you become a slave to sin, what happens is the sin started when Cain decided to plan to kill his brother. When he planned to kill his brother, that's when the sin started. And that's when he became a slave to that sin. And that sin pushed him all the way to killing his brother. And that is what happened. He was a slave to that sin and he killed his brother. So when you allow sin to overcome that hurt, sin will push you to do something that is not right, that is wrong. Now the dangerous thing about a wound is when it becomes a wound, it is no longer a seed of hurt. It is no longer just an emotional problem. It is now a problem of the mind, will, and emotion. A wound sinks into all three. It goes into the mind, it goes into the will, it goes into the emotion. A wound just spreads out and it becomes even harder to fix, harder to fight, harder to heal. A lot of times wounds lead to a lot of different addictions because the wound is so deep that you have to fix it by becoming addicted to something to cope with that wound. So what is happening in the spirit realm? Well, in the spirit realm, what's happening is Satan is throwing the darts at us at that hurt and hoping that we will allow sin to overtake that hurt so that he can use that to bring us deeper into being a slave to sin, a more addiction to sin, or he can use that to get us off track and into an area where God knows we're not supposed to be. And he's hoping that the hurts turn into wounds, because when the hurt turns into wounds, then he can cripple us and he can wound us to the point where we are unable to do what God has for us to do. We are unable to move how God wants us to move. And whenever we do start to move, we have a lot of barriers holding us back from doing what God wants us to do, because we got a lot of deep hurt, deep wounds that need to be healed. When it comes to God, what he wants is, like he told Cain, hey, fix the issue. You know, when you get the hurt, fix the hurt. Try to fix the hurt. Try to sweep it up. Do whatever you have to do to fix the hurt. But if you go to a place where you can't fix the hurt, then the second thing we have to do, we have to partner with God to fix the hurt. And let's just say it is the hurt that went instantly into a wound. That leads to the third thing, where we have to give it to God, and allow him to bring us through the process of healing, where he peels it off like onions so that he can get down through the wounds to the deep hurt and completely cleanse us and heal us. And God knows that's a lot of work. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of tears. It's a lot. It's a lot. But as he's taking you through it, he's also strengthening you and pushing you more forward in the purpose that he has for your life. And that's today's video. I want to thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe. Until the next one.